Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to help you get up to speed on interesting topics, quickly but thoroughly so you don't feel totally overwhelmed. Today, our mission is unpacking a really fascinating personal health journey. It offers, I think, a great blueprint for change that actually lasts. You might know the actor Gary Farmer, maybe from films like Dead Man, Smoke Signals.
Oh yeah, classic roles.
Or more recently, he plays Dan 12 Trees on that popular show Resident Alien.
Right.
We're talking about his health transformation. And look, this isn't some, dramatic reality TV thing.
No, not at all.
It's way more subtle, more real, and maybe, I think, more impactful because of it.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So for this deep dive, we've sort of gathered insights from, all over the place, really. Fan discussions, comments from health experts, even some industry chatter. We're basically going to distill what Gary Farmer's quiet, but pretty powerful weight loss and health shift has been about. We'll look at his strategies, or what we think they are, what might have motivated him, and, the bigger picture. What his journey means for anyone trying to improve their health, really, no matter their age.
So yeah, just to be clear, the focus is Gary Farmer's personal health evolution. We'll dig into his specific approach, the food choices he probably made, what really kept him going,
Right.
and what this quiet change means for his career, but also maybe for public health awareness. So let's get into it. The first thing that really got people talking, I think, sparked all this interest, was just the visible change in his appearance.
Yeah, you could really see it.
Especially as Dan 12 Trees and Resident Alien, viewers were saying, he looked noticeably slimmer, healthier.
Better posture, more energy too.
Exactly. It almost felt like his own personal win was sort of bleeding into the character's story on screen. It was interesting.
And what's fascinating is the context. His
Yeah.
age, right? He'll be 72 in 2025.
Yeah.
Born back in 53.
Wow.
And we know, weight gain is super common in that age group. Metabolism slows down, lifestyles change.
Sure.
So his transformation really resonated, I think, because it wasn't some quick fix. Sources kept describing it as slow and steady.
Right. Focusing on health, longevity.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Not rapid, unsustainable stuff. It came across as real personal discipline, totally different from some scripted TV weight loss plot.
Makes sense.
And health experts, they seem to really applaud actors like him, older actors, taking charge of their health publicly. It helps normalize it for, seniors, makes it seem achievable.
Okay, so that slow and steady thing, it really goes against the grain, doesn't it? All the quick fix noise out there.
Totally.
So what do you think is the biggest misunderstanding people have when they hear about a story like this? What does his journey show us?
Well, I think the biggest misconception is probably that there's one big secret or some super restrictive diet he followed.
Right, the magic bullet.
Yeah, exactly. And his story seems to show it's much more about fundamental shifts, core principles. The sources talk about a really mindful approach.
Mindful eating.
That's the first one. Mindful eating. He apparently realized he was eating just out of habit, not because he was actually hungry.
Interesting.
So he started consciously paying attention to his body's signals, eating when he felt truly hungry. It's not just changing what he ate, but how he related to food itself.
Moving from just reacting.
To being attuned, letting his body guide him. That's not really a diet. It's more like recalibrating hunger.
And being a busy actor, I imagine a big part of his strategy wasn't about fancy ingredients or complex recipes.
No, not at all, based on what we've gathered. A huge piece was home cooking, just focusing on making his own meals.
Simple stuff.
Yeah, primarily using basic unprocessed foods. Think chicken, vegetables. It really suggests taking back control, instead of relying on takeout or restaurant food where you don't always know what's in it.
Hidden sugars, unhealthy fats. So, okay, if he's eating basic foods, listening to his body, it sounds like he wasn't, obsessively tracking every calorie.
Precisely, which leads to the next point, no calorie counting.
Okay.
Sources say he explicitly didn't obsess over calorie counting or specific diets. The focus was always on eating when hungry and making healthier choices.
Right.
And that just screams sustainable, long-term lifestyle change. Not some crash diet you ditch after a few weeks. It's about empowering choice, not getting bogged down by numbers.
It really does sound like a whole shift in mindset, internal cues over external rules.
Yeah.
But for listeners maybe used to more structured plans, how does that intuitive approach actually play out day to day? What might it look like?
That's a fair question. And while Gary hasn't, polished his exact meal plan.
Right, he's pretty private.
Industry insiders do speculate. They think he adopted a low-carb, high-protein eating strategy. So if you connect that to the principles mindful eating, home cooking the likely foods would be things like grilled chicken or fish, lots of leafy greens, kale, spinach, maybe some quinoa or brown rice, but in moderation.
And cutting out the bad stuff.
Definitely. Limiting processed foods, focusing on hydration, water, green tea, and really avoiding sugary snacks and soda, big ones.
So maybe just to help you listening picture it, here's a possible daily routine, just speculative, remember, based on those ideas. It's not about rigid times, but fitting it all together.
Yeah, like a template.
Maybe start the day like 7 a.m., warm lemon water, maybe some light stretching. Then breakfast, 8 a.m., scrambled eggs with spinach.
Good protein start.
Midday, say 12 p.m., grilled chicken, maybe a quinoa bowl. Then for that afternoon slump, 3 p.m., a handful of nuts and some green tea.
Smart snack.
Dinner around 6 p.m., baked salmon, steamed veggies, and then to wind down 9 p.m., herbal tea. Probably no food after that.
And see, that kind of structure, even at time shift, it hits all the right notes. It supports stable blood sugar, helps with fat burning, boosts energy, which is huge, especially for older adults.
Yeah.
Which raises the question, right? What else might he have been doing besides just the food?
Good point. Exercise, other strategies.
Sources do suggest other things might be in the mix, like maybe intermittent fasting, eating only within a certain window, maybe 12 p.m. to 8 p.m., something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe focusing on anti-inflammatory eating, avoiding gluten, processed sugar,
Yeah.
and definitely some form of light resistance training. Walking, swimming, yoga.
Yeah.
Got to keep that muscle mass up.
Sure.
It's also, entirely possible he worked with someone, maybe a functional medicine coach. They look at root causes, personalize things.
Or maybe online programs.
Or used online programs designed for mature men, maybe something similar in principle to strategies you hear from people like Gary Brecka, the human biologist.
With the 30-30-30 rule.
Exactly. Like 30 grams of protein within 30 minutes of waking, then 30 minutes of light exercise. Now, just to be clear, there's no public link between Gary Farmer and Gary Brecka. None at all.
Got it.
But it gives you a sense of the kind of modern wellness thinking that might have, influenced his approach somehow.
This whole disciplined approach, though, it sounds simple on paper, but sticking with it, especially with an acting career. What do you think really motivated him? What was the driving force behind this quiet shift?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? For an actor, well, there are always career pressures.
Sure. Staying relevant, fitting roles.
Exactly. Better role suitability, thinking about longer career viability, just having the stamina on set for those long days.
Makes sense.
But then there's the personal stuff, too. We don't know for sure, but maybe health scares, maybe family history, giving him a strong why.
Yeah, that's powerful motivation.
And you can't discount the public eye. Media and fan commentary, that has an impact, too. Plus, just getting older, health naturally becomes more of a focus around 70.
And that brings us right to the health side. For someone his age, what are the risks if you don't tackle excess weight?
Yeah, it's pretty stark, actually. The data shows excess weight, especially in men over 60, dramatically bumps up the risk for serious stuff.
Right.
Heart attack, diabetes, sleep apnea. I mean, it's highly probable that if Gary hadn't improved his health, he might have faced these kinds of really dangerous issues.
So his effort was really preventative.
Absolutely. His proactive effort likely prevented major complications. It really speaks volumes about his commitment.
And visually, people estimate, maybe 30 to 50 pounds lost over a few years?
Somewhere in that ballpark, yeah.
That gradual change, it really signals it was a whole lifestyle thing, not just a diet.
Yeah, exactly. If you average it out, maybe 8 to 12 pounds a month, that's a really healthy, sustainable rate.
Why is that pace so important?
Because going slower like that reduces the risk of losing muscle mass, which is crucial as you age, and it really supports long-term success. You're building habits, not just shedding pounds quickly that you'll likely regain.
It sounds like a real investment in his future.
And it seems to be paying off professionally, too. As of 2025, Gary Farmer is actively acting, still taking on roles.
That's great.
Yeah, his career feels, revitalized. And you gotta think his improved health is fueling that, at least partly. It's a great example of how taking care of yourself impacts everything else.
Okay, before we wrap this up, maybe a quick clarification is needed because there are a few guys named Gary out there in the health conversation.
Yes, good point. So just to be crystal clear, we're talking about Gary Farmer, the actor, the Cayuga Nation heritage.
Right.
He is not Gary Brecka, the human biologist we mentioned.
Yeah.
Zero public connection between their specific approaches.
Okay.
And he's also not, Gary Ray Farmer from social media, or Gary Shirley from Teen Mom, or Gary Anthony Williams, the voice actor, or Gary Hawkins from My 600-Pound Life. Different people entirely.
Got it. We're focused purely on the actor, Gary Farmer. And personally, he does seem to keep things private. We don't really hear about, a wife or a new girlfriend, and he hasn't shared the nitty-gritty details of his weight loss journey.
Yep, he keeps that to himself.
But the key thing is, he is still acting in 2025.
Absolutely. And while, sure, his estimated net worth is decent, maybe $2 million to $3 million, which means wealth might be a side benefit, giving access to, say, better food or trainers.
Resources, yeah.
The real story here seems to be about his personal discipline and focusing on health, not about cashing in on the transformation.
So bringing it all together then, Gary Farmer's transformation, it wasn't this huge viral thing, not a reality show plot,
Yep.
but it's actually a really powerful lesson, isn't it, about sustainable change.
Totally. What's so compelling is how it highlights health over hype. Shows you can embrace aging with vitality. It's all about that personal discipline.
Yeah.
And it's a fantastic example, especially for men in their 60s and 70s, showing the impact of taking control of your health. Plus, his work often touches on indigenous perspectives, so his journey also subtly reflects that cultural pride and perseverance.
So as we finish up this deep dive, here's something for you, the listener, to maybe mull over.
Yeah.
How might really listening to your body's true hunger cues, like Gary Farmer seems to have done, or maybe embracing that slow and steady approach, how might that change your view on your own health goal?
Good question.
What subtle but powerful shift could you maybe make in your life inspired by Gary Farmer's quiet but pretty remarkable triumph?